In a historic and unprecedented move, the United States Supreme Court delivered a unanimous ruling against the Trump Organization, sending shockwaves through the legal and political landscape. The decision was not only significant for its outcome, but also for the clarity and force with which it was delivered. The justices dismantled a key legal defense that Donald Trump and his team had relied on for years, a strategy that had previously helped him avoid serious legal consequences. The case itself centered on decades of alleged financial misconduct, with the court ultimately finding that the Trump Organization engaged in a long-running systematic scheme to misrepresent the value of its assets to banks, insurers, and tax authorities. Every justice, both liberal and conservative, agreed this was not simply a matter of questionable business practices, but a clear and deliberate act of fraud that could not be excused or explained away. Prosecutors presented overwhelming evidence that the Trump Organization had systematically inflated property values to secure favorable loans and insurance policies, and then, in a calculated move, deflated those same values when it came time to pay taxes, reaping unfair financial benefits at every turn. The Supreme Court's decision made it clear these were not just aggressive business tactics, but outright illegal acts that violated the law and public trust. With this ruling, a major door slammed shut on Trump's long-standing strategy of delay, denial, and deflection, establishing the facts of civil fraud as legally settled and beyond dispute. The decision validated the core accusations against Trump, making it far more difficult for him to dismiss the charges as mere political attacks or partisan maneuvering. The court's remarkable unity, with justices from across the ideological spectrum standing together, removed any hint of partisan bias from the outcome. Released late on a Friday, the ruling immediately dominated national headlines, setting off a chain reaction of legal and political consequences that would reverberate for weeks to come. This was not just a financial penalty for the Trump Organization, it was a fundamental legal blow, confirming the overwhelming evidence of fraud and holding the organization accountable at the highest level. Even the three justices appointed by Trump himself joined in the unanimous decision, underscoring the gravity and undeniability of the court's findings. With the Supreme Court's ruling, the stage was set for rapid and dramatic fallout, both in the courts and in the court of public opinion. The legal landscape for Donald Trump and his organization had changed forever, marking a turning point in the ongoing saga of accountability and justice. Deep in the court's opinion, footnote 23 changed everything. Hidden in the dense legal language, it quietly set off shockwaves through the legal community, catching the attention of prosecutors and defense attorneys alike. It stated the civil trial evidence was strong enough to refer for potential criminal charges, a rare move for the Supreme Court. This wasn't just a passing comment, it was a deliberate signal, a nudge from the nation's highest court that the facts uncovered in civil court could not be ignored by criminal investigators. This footnote signaled to prosecutors nationwide, across federal, state, and local levels, that a criminal case could and should be explored. Suddenly, what was once a civil matter had the potential to become a criminal prosecution, raising the stakes dramatically. Legal experts saw it as a green light, removing obstacles for criminal prosecution based on the civil case's facts. It was as if the court had cleared a path, making it easier for prosecutors to act without fear of overstepping. The footnote's language, predicate grounds, means the fraud findings can serve as the foundation for more serious charges, like racketeering or conspiracy. This legal phrasing is crucial, as it provides a direct link between civil wrongdoing and potential criminal liability. Prosecutors now have judicial backing and don't need to relitigate the facts. The court's findings can be used as a springboard, saving time and resources while strengthening their cases. The court handed them a crucial building block for indictments, making it far easier to pursue charges that might have seemed out of reach before. The message, white-collar crime at the highest levels will face real consequences. No longer could powerful executives or corporations assume immunity from prosecution. For prosecutors in New York, Georgia, and D.C., this was a call to action. It was a clear invitation to take up the mantle and pursue justice wherever the evidence led. The Supreme Court's unanimous backing gave them the cover to move forward aggressively, emboldening prosecutors to act decisively and without hesitation. The Supreme Court's landmark ruling set off a weekend of swift and coordinated legal action, as prosecutors across the country sprang into motion. The decision, which had been highly anticipated, immediately changed the legal landscape and prompted a flurry of activity in multiple jurisdictions. Special counsel Jack Smith wasted no time. he unsealed a motion revealing new evidence, 43 financial documents that, thanks to the Supreme Court's ruling, were now admissible in court. These documents, previously withheld, could prove pivotal in the ongoing investigations, offering fresh insight into the financial dealings at the heart of the case. Meanwhile, in Georgia, District Attorney Fani Willis quickly reconvened her grand jury. The panel moved with urgency, issuing a supplemental indictment that included new charges directly tied to the Supreme Court's findings. The developments in Georgia underscored just how far-reaching the court's decision had become. In New York, the Attorney General's office began enforcing its judgment with remarkable speed. Authorities seized key Trump Organization assets, including the iconic 40 Wall Street skyscraper, and even Mar-a-Lago's liquor license, sending a strong signal that no asset was off-limits. These aggressive actions struck at both the business empire and the personal interests of Donald Trump, threatening the very foundation of his financial and public standing. Throughout the weekend, a flurry of legal maneuvers unfolded. Prosecutors and legal teams worked around the clock, demonstrating an unprecedented level of coordination and urgency. The sense of momentum was unmistakable. Every move was part of a larger, meticulously planned strategy, one that had been waiting for the Supreme Court's green light. Now, with that decision in hand, the full force of the law was being brought to bear. The message was unmistakable. Prosecutors were no longer waiting for permission or further developments. The time for action had arrived, and they were moving decisively. The legal walls were closing in on the Trump Organization from every direction, with mounting cases and new evidence tightening the net. The pressure on Trump and his inner circle had never been greater, as the weekend's events signaled a new, more aggressive phase in the legal battles ahead. The Supreme Court's ruling and swift prosecutorial action had an immediate effect on Trump Organization insiders. Almost overnight, the calculus changed. Witnesses began seeking protection and cutting deals. The U.S. Marshals Service logged 6 requests for witness protection from individuals tied to the financial operations at the heart of the fraud. 3 executives quickly entered proffer agreements, offering information in exchange for limited immunity. Their cooperation signals the case has reached a tipping point. These witnesses possess first-hand knowledge of the schemes and who gave the orders. Their testimony could provide prosecutors with a detailed roadmap of the fraud. The once united front was fracturing, giving prosecutors access to the organization's inner workings. The investigation was now zeroing in on the very top. The political fallout was immediate and severe. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell called Chief Justice Roberts, signaling deep concern within GOP leadership. Moderate Republican senators held an emergency encrypted meeting, likely debating whether to pivot away from Trump. The most dramatic reaction came from donors. Within hours, 3 major Republican backers withdrew $47 million in funding from pro-Trump groups. This financial retreat sent shockwaves through the party. Harlan Crow convened an emergency board meeting to assess exposure, reflecting donor panic. The Supreme Court's decision shook the financial foundations of Trump-aligned politics. Money, the lifeblood of campaigns, was fleeing. The GOP faced a new, uncertain reality. The Supreme Court's ruling sent shockwaves through global finance. Deutsche Bank, Trump's longtime lender, announced a comprehensive review of all loans tied to the Trump Organization. This move signaled a clear shift. Major banks were distancing themselves from a client now officially found guilty of massive fraud. In the Middle East, the Saudi Public Investment Fund placed its $2 billion investment in Kushner-linked, Trump-connected projects under compliance review. Even powerful state-backed investors were wary of association. These international responses underscored the global reach of the Trump brand and the consequences of the ruling. Foreign banks and investors rely on the stability of the U.S. legal system. A unanimous Supreme Court finding of fraud is a red flag no institution can ignore. Compliance reviews and public statements were about protecting reputations and financial interests. The Trump Organization's access to foreign capital was now in jeopardy. Perhaps most remarkable was the Supreme Court's total unity. All 9 justices, liberal and conservative, signed the majority opinion, written by Chief Justice Roberts himself. Even Trump's own appointees joined without separate concurrences, amplifying the decision's power. This unanimity stripped away any argument of partisan bias. The court spoke with a single, authoritative voice. The evidence of fraud was overwhelming. Their unity shields prosecutors from claims of political motivation. The justices' actions demonstrated a commitment to the rule of law over politics. The ruling's clarity and force will echo for years to come. The media landscape shifted as well. Fox News abruptly canceled a scheduled Trump interview, signaling reluctance to give him a platform after the ruling. Attorney General Merrick Garland made a series of public appearances, reinforcing the Justice Department's independence. Critical dates loomed: a New York sentencing hearing and the unsealing of a key supplement from Jack Smith, both set for Wednesday. The case now stands as a test of the American principle that no one is above the law. The scale of alleged fraud, over $2 billion, makes this a historic reckoning. The Supreme Court's ruling, coordinated prosecutions, and donor retreat point to a moment of national consequence. What happens next will shape the future of the presidency and the strength of U.S. legal institutions. The weight of history is unmistakable.